And we got him. We got that fuck nigga. It took a decade, but we got him. Lance Taylor, a.k.a. Afrika Bambaataa, a.k.a. Bam Dusky. Out of here. Complications related to cancer. Hopefully he died a slow death. I'm just being honest with you. He was so arrogant to the point where he didn't feel like he needed to respond to the allegations once upon a time. I'm going to have to go back and give you some history, timeline, just for clarification. Over the years, many of you know that I avoided all the bullshit, the back and forth, and the messy stuff. Because the reality of molestation in the inner cities, especially in the projects, it's heartbreaking. I never experienced anything like it. Had no knowledge really in depth of it. I didn't even want to do the story at first, for those of you who don't know how the story evolved. Prior to 2016, hip-hop only had misinformation, tea, and gossip. There were no faces that came forward to say something and then to stand on it. I interviewed a lot of people. I brought a lot of people out to the point where finally, salute to Lisa Evers, who I worked with back in my early radio days. She got an Afrika Bambaataa and he had to sit down and talk to her. But he was arrogant. He dismissed any and every journalist, every radio station. Nobody wanted to touch the story except me. I never had any issues with anybody from Zulu Nation, contrary to the bullshit lies that people have tried to put out over the years. Ice-T and I had words. But we saw each other backstage at the Dave Chappelle taping. We spoke like men. We squashed it, and that was it. There was no Zulu Nation even in my high school, my last year of high school. George Washington, G-Dub, class of 82. It's 99.9% Dominican. But I knew of them. You know, my history, born in 64, so I was there at the inception of hip-hop. In the 70s, I used to go into Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx. So I was very aware of them. And it was something that I was hesitant to do. Again, in 2016. Multiple interviews. I never really wanted credit, but I was battling in the New York Daily News with the Zulu Nation. They're calling me COINTELPRO, and they're calling some of the people that I was interviewing all sorts of liars, and it was crazy. Weeks after those, exchanges in the New York Daily News, then people start, contacting me. Salute to Sarnetta, King Simon, Captain Tazariak, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Irritated Genie, Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds contacted me weeks after, and I gave him my notes, and I said, here, you call these people, man. If you guys are going to get on this, get on it. Bambaataa was not talking. Dismissive of the allegations and the accusations. Grown-ass men I was interviewing. Grandfathers. Some of them crying on the phone because I'm going hard in the paint. Tell me something. Tell me anything. Give me some names. Late at night, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, people are calling me. Some of the older Zulu Nation guys that I knew over the years, decades, we had mutual respect. They're talking with respect. I'm responding with respect. Nobody's talking greasy and crazy because I am a stupid nigga. I'm not tough, but I'm a stupid nigga. You can't talk crazy to me on the phone. Most people in hip-hop, again, going back to the 80s, knew about Bambaataa's lifestyle. Hip-hop is not homophobic, contrary to what people try to claim it is. In the early days, before you had homo thugs, you had something called Banji Boys. Banji Boys. A lot of your pioneers were Banji Boys. Hell, they came out of the disco era. They were wearing spandex, fucking pants, boots, permed hair, and goddamn spiked bracelets and what have you. So nobody was tripping off of whether he licked a hole or sucked a pole. But in 2016, when people started coming forward and said, hey, this man touched me when I was underage. In fact, back in 2001, a woman came to my job. She was waiting downstairs, but it was 5:30 in the morning. I'm trying to go upstairs, and she's trying to show me pictures of her son. Her son was dead, but she was trying to tell me that Bambaataa put her son in a bad situation. And I said, well, ma'am, it's 5:30. I'm sipping bourbon out of this 7-Up can. Call the police. Call the police. Salute to Barry Wade, a publication called One Nut Network. This was the very first hip-hop publication that spoke about the gay rapper. He never mentioned anybody's names. Out of Connecticut, Barry Wade, an associate of mine. We spoke a couple of years ago. This is where Wendy Williams got the whole gay rapper story from. Anybody remember that? Good evening. One Nut Network. So hip-hop always had an assumption of what was going on with Afrika Bambaataa. But again, in 2016, when people started contacting me, and I said, well, you know, if we do this, and some of the people at first I said, we don't have to do this. Think it through. Because if I put my stamp on it, it's gonna, get lit. Pow! And it did. There's a bunch of names I could mention, but I'm not here to name drop. But, some good men in the Zulu Nation. Again, people from my generation. I was born in 1964, calling me at night. We're talking, and they're coming clean. They're coming clean because, again, this molestation in the urban areas and the projects, it's disgusting. I was learning about it. Let me say early, regardless of how you feel about Poppy, a.k.a. Hassan Campbell, he deserves a lot of respect. I've always said the bravest man in hip-hop. Hell, I threw him under the bus. Get out there. Give me something. Crash out. So I can really get this story cracking. But I gave him an award. You guys, anybody see the plaque I gave Hassan Campbell? He earned that. He crashed the fuck out against men who he looked up to, uncles, his family. It's his family. I could place him inside Bambaataa's apartment when he was a minor. I could place him there based upon interviews and cross-referencing dates and times. I could place him there. Without him, the story would not have had any legs. Some people started walking shit back. Some of the guys in the South and down in Florida, one guy in particular, a good man, he said, Star, I'm about to retire. Been working at the post office. I got grandkids. And he's crying. He's crying on the phone. He says, I don't want to go. I can't relive this. I said, okay, but here's the thing. If I need you, if some lawsuits get to popping, can I count on you in a deposition and to take the stand? He said, absolutely. Just to be clear, Hassan Campbell, a.k.a. Poppy, never said he's taking Bambaataa to court. Someone was trying to help him go down that path, and he listened, he entertained it, but he said, that's not what I'm trying to do. Supposedly, him and Bambaataa were involved in alleged robberies, according to him. This fuck nigga, Bambaataa, died in Pennsylvania, probably in the Poconos somewhere. And in case you don't know, a John Doe did get a judgment against him. He never even went to court. So whatever, is owed to the John Doe, and salute to the John Doe. I have no relationship with the John Doe. I'm sure some type of royalties or mechanical residuals or what have you will go to the John Doe who did stand on it and file a lawsuit. Phone lines are open if you want to chime in, if you want to talk about molestation. I'm not here to do the tea and the mess. Who said what? Who did what? Fuck all that. Fuck all that goofy shit. Let's talk about molestation in the inner cities. If you're so goddamn concerned about the Epstein files, let's talk about your own. If you're black or Hispanic.
Okay, and were you close to Afrika Bambaataa?
Well, we all grew up together. Now, I'm not saying we was close because, see, what it was back then, it wasn't like it was beef, but it was always competition. So Bam was the competition. And we had healthy respect for him because, we had the Zulu Nation, you would do the anniversary, we would come, we perform, so we wasn't necessarily close, but we traveled the same circle. So we was good.
I mean, when you fast forward years later, when you hear about the accusations of Bambaataa, about the molestation charges and everything else like that, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, it's not like people didn't know, or it's not like it was something that was unknown, in other words. But it was just really something that was like, maybe hip hop's best kept secret or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you knew, and you saying everyone pretty much knew that Afrika Bambaataa was gay.
It is what it is. I mean, you got people that would deny it. You got people that would say they don't know. I'm saying everybody knew it, so it was all right there. So I mean,
Well, I mean, being gay is especially these days, is perfectly acceptable, not a big deal. But messing with underage boys is something completely different.
Well, you see that part about it, you would have to interview him because our whole thing and my whole thing is like I said, is everybody knew.
That was Melly Mel, pioneer, architect, legend from 5 years ago. Guys in the live chat, I want your thinking caps on tonight. Trolling is fine. Keep on trolling, but I want your thinking caps on. If you're a father or if you have been a victim of molestation, come on, give us something to really sink our teeth into. This is a big deal. Afrika Bambaataa, gone. And he never spoke out, with the exception of one interview he did on Fox 5 with Lisa Evers. He never addressed this.
A Fox 5 exclusive, one of hip-hop's founding fathers speaking out for the first time on television about shocking child abuse allegations. And the list of accusers is growing, and they all tell similar stories.
Afrika Bambaataa being accused of sexually abusing several underage boys decades ago. Lisa Evers sat down with him for an exclusive TV interview to answer the allegations. She joins us now. Lisa.
Well, Stephen Derry, Afrika Bambaataa brought peace to violent city streets, but now he is accused of a crime that is tough to forgive: molesting boys. He sat down with me for this exclusive interview, and no questions were off limits.
Have you ever abused any underage boy?
I never abused nobody. It just sounds crazy to people to say that here you abused me. My thing is, all my people back then. The hundreds of people that been around me. If something like that happened, why you never want to? None of them.
Party people, can you get funky?
It also sounded crazy to many fans of his 1980s hit song, Planet Rock, considered one of the all-time greatest in hip-hop. Since then, as the founder of the hip-hop cultural organization Zulu Nation, he's been a visiting professor at Cornell and invited to speak around the world. He told me the accusations came as a shock.
What is the motivation?
Yeah, what is the motivation? What is the agenda?
Do you think there is an agenda there?
It's hard to say. You don't know what many of these people are thinking, what is behind it. Some parts I've seen, like it could be shake-ups, certain things people might have wanted.
The allegations have set off a social media firestorm and ignited feverish debate. Since the alleged incidents happened so long ago, no criminal charges can be brought. And there have been no settlements or payouts, says Bambaataa attorney Charles Tucker Jr.
Have there been any criminal charges filed against Afrika Bambaataa at all?
Absolutely not. Not today, not yesterday, not the day before yesterday, not ever.
The question now is what happens next? Can we ever find out the truth of what really occurred? And are there other victims out there who have yet to come forward? Or is this a case that will only be tried in the court of public opinion?
Okay, that was one of the very few interviews that he did. He also called into Ed Lover and Moni Love's morning show sometime after that particular interview. But yeah, for the most part, he went to Rolling Stone. He was very dismissive with regards to the groundswell of black YouTubers at that time. Salute to Sarnetta. And again, Irritated Genie, Captain Tazariak, King Simon. I know I'm forgetting somebody, but I said Red Pill, Blue Pill. They were trying, but just Bam he had nothing to say to them. I then took it personal, and at some point, King Simon, are you out there? King Simon organized a press conference of sorts on 125th Street. Prior to that, I drove, because I was living in Hazleton, PA at the time, drove 2 hours to go put my face to the story. Just me and one of my associates. Saw that I had an event. He and Brother Polite, they were having some types of debates for anybody who remembers. So this took a while. This is not some overnight story. But again, the sad reality of molestation, whether it be black boys, black girls, or even Hispanic, it does not get the respect coming out the gate. When I tell you this was a work story, I lost subscribers. People started taking the videos, creating all sorts of bullshit, Illuminati nonsense. Let's bring some calls in before I play more videos, because I want us to have a discussion, but let's do some trolling too. Hey, is that timestamp Tiffany tapping in area code 410?
Good evening, Star.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm going to keep it really brief, but I just want to say thank you so very much for bringing light to such a serious situation and a monstrous act that plagues our communities, specifically when it comes to Black people. We have a tendency to turn a blind eye within our own families. And so it makes me mad when it comes to like the Epstein files. Oh, let's focus on that. No, let's focus on what's going on within our community. And I think that is something that needs to be said when it comes to the trauma and the healing that has to begin. Those people have to, I don't even like to call them people, but they should be outcasted. And we should point fingers and we should put them on blast. And so I just wanted to just show my appreciation for a show like this tonight.
But stay with me, because I don't want to rush you off the line. Prior to, again, 2016, it was just misinformation and gossip. And the first time I heard about something of a violent nature with Afrika Bambaataa, I'm sitting up in Sylvia's, me and Eric B. And I think Queen's Flip was there. And Eric B. told me about some stabbing. Come to find out, it was one of Afrika Bambaataa's alleged lovers, and he was not a minor. For those of you who have been pushing this false narrative from a stabbing related to a boy and date rape, that's fake news. So, you know, that I dismissed until we could get to the details of it. But then it became such a weird, you know, just an internet silly story. But in 2016, conducting those interviews, Tiffany, I have to be very honest with you, it changed me because I don't want to say I was dismissive, but I no experience with molestation or even dating girls who, you know, who went through that, with the exception of one, but she didn't want to talk about it. So, but it changed me. It changed my outlook, and it made me go even harder with regards to the interviews. Go ahead.
And that's another thing that I wanted to say. You know, a lot of times there is such a shame that comes with having, you know, that in your past, and humiliation, or even just the one of, you know, are people going to believe the victim? And that's why so many people are so reluctant to come forward. And I want to take the time also, you know, just to send my thoughts and to salute Hassan for being brave enough to come forward, because I'm sure, you know, I haven't really gone in, but I know he faced a lot of backlash.
He was really, I'm sorry, he was really ostracized. And, you know, I didn't know the depths of his, you know, upbringing with the Zulu Nation. The guys from my era, you know, they knew of him right away. When I started asking, you know, and again, having these late night interviews and things like that, they knew who he was. And I said, well, listen, don't lie to me because I'm stupid.
Right.
And I'm going to put your name in it. I mean, I wasn't trying to, like, you know, strong arm people, but he deserves a lot of credit. This story is about multiple people, not just one person, but in New York, he's the guy who went hard in the paint. I hate to ask you, Tiffany, any personal experience with molestation or, you know, something like that with regards to the story?
Yes. I don't really want to get into it.
That's
you
fine.
know.
That's fine.
But I do. I sympathize and empathize so very much with, and I like to just say the survivors. Yeah. And so I will just say that, and you know, I'm happy that they now have like the Survivors Act.
Yes.
With, you know, where people can still come forward, and get that burden off of their shoulders. Yeah. And really just putting these abusers out there. They have to be put out there because you're talking about children's innocence that was taken from them. And that is what really hurts me, because it destroys people and it destroys them so that they can't even live.
So I've learned
a normal life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot has to be said. And I really hope that more people who are the enablers, I hope that they are put on blast, because they are just as despicable when you know about it and you don't say something about it. To have children, little sisters, little brothers of your own, they are just as guilty.
Yeah. Tiffany, great to talk to you, and thank you for your help all the time.
Thank you.
Bye now. Okay. Yeah. Let me go to area code 323. Good evening. Please watch the language. Talking about Afrika Bambaataa. Are you there?
What's up, Star, man? This is Dewan B, man. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Good to hear from you. What's cracking?
Yes, sir. I was on my live earlier. I said, man, I hope Star go to live today. I can't wait to hear what he got to say about this.
I got the nap in. I took a B12 shot. Goddamn, we might do a marathon show. Let's promote your platform first, man, please, before you get started. Come on.
Oh, yeah. I got Dewan B on YouTube. That's where I break down cultural analysis of what's going on and just talk about what's going on in the world.
Yes, sir.
I got my other channel, Incense and Ashtrays, on YouTube.
Great work.
That's more so where I do interviews.
Great work. Yeah.
And talk about culture. Yeah. I got the first lady who coined the term lowrider and the history of black lowriders in LA.
Okay.
And I just interviewed DJ Battle Cat. That's gonna be up on that channel.
How's he doing? LL Cool J's old DJ.
No? The Battle Cat, that's one of the West Coast Holy Trinity. You know?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Bobcat. I'm sorry. Anyway, man. Okay, so you want to talk about Bambaataa? Where do you want to go? You have the floor.
Yes, but I want to talk about Bambaataa, man.
Come on.
Like, you know what's going on right here? I was just on Lord Jamar's show. We were talking about what's his legacy going to be, you know? Because, you know, it's not like he got hits like R. Kelly. He ain't got hits like some of these other people that can make you somewhat ignore their BS. he basically only got 1 or 2 songs that everybody, pay attention to. And outside of that, they know him for basically coming up with that lie that Cool Herc created hip hop. So it's like everywhere you look, it's a little bit tainted. So I don't know how it's gonna go for your boy as time goes on.
If I can jump in, what state are you from? I forget.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
What state are you located in? Where are you from?
I'm in LA.
Okay.
I'm in LA.
Okay. Afrika Bambaataa meant more to the New York tri-state than just a hit song. Zulu Nation, which came out of the Black Spades, was a cultural movement. It was a movement, a force to be reckoned.
Of course.
Yeah, a force to be reckoned with. So he and a host of others lived off of the fame, the vapor trails, if you will, for a lot of years. And being as instrumental as he was, and the Zulu Nation that were preaching peace, love, unity, and having fun, the one big hit, Planet Rock, I mean, the babies may, know about that, but they gave more to the game than what most people, and I say this, with all due respect to people on the outside, than they will ever know, because at that point in time, late 70s, early 80s, hip hop was beautiful. It was a Black art form, as you know, and it was very, very unique. So I'm not going to dismiss him as just being a one-hit wonder, but with regards to what you said, what you and Lord Jamar were speaking about his legacy, there's always going to be people who say, well, listen, man, that's Bam, man, and hey, man, I can't just erase 20 years of my life. So go ahead.
Yeah, I want to make clear, I understand the Zulu Impact connection and all that. But if you weren't in New York and you weren't part of that generation,
right,
which is going to be, for the most part, 99% of the people who hear his name.
You're right.
The only thing the other 99% have is Planet Rock. Mm-hmm. Just like, there's a bigger story to everybody. But the thing that generally gives people a pass is, their words. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have enough work to the masses. Although Planet Rock was a very influential song, right? And a lot of what he did, his ideology, was very influential. Mm-hmm. Most of that stuff is going to, get watered down and kind of go into the grass with the rest of the water. Yeah. But the thing that stands out is that, and so with him not having the equity of having a hit song, the focus is going to be on these last 10 years, and the people that were his victims, they're still on the internet and they're not going to stop talking. So unfortunately for his legacy, I don't care either way, but unfortunately for his legacy, that's what the story is going to be.
Yeah. Can I jump in? And you have a documentary. I want to make sure that we mention that because you do great research and this is an area that you do have a lot of knowledge in. With regards to what is his legacy going to be, if you ask me, he made that choice and or decision and the ones that were closest to him. So I don't feel sorry for him. They made the choice to very arrogantly deny everything, as opposed to coming out and saying this man is gay and we're going to fight this, and then sit down with some of the people. But I don't think that they really understood, or maybe they didn't care about the groundswell of YouTube and how social media could affect, as you just said, his legacy. So it's an unfortunate situation, but me, born in 1964, I didn't want to do the interview at first. The first person who came to me, I said, well, I don't know. I sent him back to go get pictures because I wanted to speak about who he was. Give me your real name. Let me see who you are now, not who you were once upon a time in the late 70s and 80s. You're coming out now as a grown man. So I took my time, and then I really said, well, let me think about this, because I had no issues with a lot of those guys, man, from Zulu Nation. In fact, we were very, very cool. And I made a choice that I thought that the topic of molestation was much more important than his legacy. Back to you.
Yes, that's how I feel too, because my background, long before I got on YouTube, I worked with the Department of Mental Health here in LA. And a lot of kids that I worked with, the hundreds of kids, out of the hundreds, I have had at least 24. Okay. I was the one that they told that something like that happened to them. and it was generally somebody that the parents knew, and it was generally I was when I was told that people in the church were doing this. That's so for about 10 years of my life, I was the one children would come to tell these stories.
Man.
So, that's a part of my life that I literally have to blank out. I didn't got that memory thing. I don't even like thinking about that time in my life. But when I heard about Bambaataa, when you broke that around 2016, that's when I was still at that job.
Yeah.
So when it broke, it was way too close to my daily job for me to pay attention to.
Okay.
I didn't actually start paying attention to it until about 4 or 5 years after I left that job.
Okay.
But while I was at that job, I couldn't focus on the story because it was too much like work. But I appreciate platforms like yours for bringing it out, and I think that the people overall do, because if you notice, Bambaataa, he wasn't part of any hip hop 50 because they knew that the people were like, what's this dude doing here?
Yeah.
So I think that the temperament of the people, the minute that stuff got released and he didn't say anything, sort of switched against him, and it kind of people either got silent, or they got up like, nah, we ain't messing with him. So, but that's thanks to platforms like yours for putting that out there.
Thank you. And I'll just say one last thing, because again, you do such great research and work. You put out an awesome documentary. My generation, I'm a baby boomer, tail end. We made a lot of mistakes, and sometimes we have to own up to those mistakes. And I just want to, again, be clear. This was something I wrestled with. Damn, do I do this interview, man? This could really go, down a certain path, and I'm just not prepared. And, again, the late night calls from some of the guys, even, I don't want to say names, but Powwow from the Soul Sonic Force, we had such great, respectful conversations, Ike C., and a host of others. And I said, well, listen, I can't put this back in a bottle. It's out there. So you guys got to do whatever you do and clean this shit up. Smitty and a host of others. It took its own course, if you will. But hey, man, I appreciate you. Anything else you want to mention or promote something on your platform?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow me at Dewan B. I'm an official 501(c)(3) now with the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation, fully fledged 501(c)(3) doing the music history work.
Yes, sir.
And look out for my book coming out at the end of the year. I'm writing a book, 250 years of Black American music on the 250th year anniversary of the United States.
Nice.
1776 to 2026. And
nice.
We're gonna go with some of the most famous Black American musicians starting in 1776 through now. So that's gonna be coming at y'all towards the end of the year.
Keep me posted.
So go to thewanb.com for updates.
I appreciate you, man. Salute.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Thank you. Okay. Area code 917 in 5, 4, 3.
What's up, Jerry? What's up, Star?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, bro?
How are you, man? What's
it's
cracking?
Your boy Big J from the Bronx.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, I gotta go with the. This is the deal. I call it all the time. This whole thing with Bambaataa is real. He did a lot for hip hop, but the man is a petty. He's a petty, and he is a predator. I'm in my 60s.
Okay.
When I first heard about that, I've been living in the Bronx in Co-op City.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old, I was in Co-op City going to school.
Okay.
And the kids that used to go to my class were coming from Boston C Corp, which is right connected to Co-op City.
I know.
They live right. They live right behind Bambaataa and Mark Terrace. So they were the closest ones to Bambaataa. If anybody knows the Bronx, when you take the 5 train up to Baychester, you get off Bambaataa's building was right there when you come out the subway station. Now remember, I'm 10 at the time.
So I don't mean to cut you short, but now is the time to talk about other people and how we can possibly help and or provide some type of assistance. Your personal stories, salute to you. You've had plenty of time to get that out there. You got social media. I say this with all due respect. He's gone now. Out of here.
Right.
Fuck him. But what about now? What about now? What are we?
Yeah.
And I'm saying we. What are we doing now? because the story moved me. It changed me. What's being done different now?
Well, we gotta monitor. People gotta stick together, and then we gotta block all the foolishness. You know, we can't allow the pedophiles. We gotta stop with everything, the drug dealing, the murders, everything that's going on in hip hop.
Sir, drug dealing and murdering is not going to stop.
I know, but I'm talking about as far as twisting it into the music. You know, it's just
no, sir. The music is always going to reflect what's going on in the streets. Now, I don't mean to cut you short, sir, but I'm amped. I got the nap in. I took a shot of B12. Can we talk about any type of support systems now? Are you a father? Your grandfather?
Yeah, all that.
Okay, okay. Do you tell your beautiful babies if somebody touches you, goddamn, you tell me right away? Do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been so concerned. I'm gonna give it to her son because I'm not afraid to open up and talk to my kids. I'm like, listen, don't play those games.
Right.
You can't be around these older boys.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. Kids gotta just be careful, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. When I look back, he was definitely, I couldn't see it at 10 years old, but when I look at it now, what was a 21-year-old doing cutting and playing music for kids to break dance at 10 years old? He was watching all of us.
Are you still in the Bronx, sir? Where you at now? Because I'm getting backed up on calls. Where you now?
All right, I'm still in the Bronx, but I'm gonna land my plane, but, I just wanted to be on the check-in. He's gone, but he ain't going to be forgotten. It is what it is.
All right, salute, man. Thank you. 416, good evening. Please watch the language. 416, are you there?
Star, Frankie G on the check-in. What's up, OG?
Frankie G, how are you, man? What's cracking?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for covering the topic today. I sent you some emails. Appreciate you. I remember you breaking the story back in the start.
I'm not even tripping off of that, Frankie G, because honestly, it's about molestation. That was the mission. I wasn't looking for pats on the back. But go ahead.
Right. No, but you know what? Like, credit where credit's due, man. You say you're an atheist and you don't believe in God, but God works in mysterious ways, Stars. Even
God's work.
Yes, sometimes. Let's go. Let's go.
What's going on?
So I'm smoking on an Afrika Bambaataa Bussy Boy Nation pack tonight, man.
Let's go.
Rest in peace to that fat slob. I hope he died a slow and miserable death.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone supporting
organ failure, complications from cancer.
Right.
Organs gave
up. Yeah, man. I hope it was long and painful, and I hope anyone that was defending him and standing by him, knowing that he was lying, and all these victims coming forward that were abused, innocent kids. Let's not forget it. They were children, minors. I hope they get what's coming to them too. Because for me, I can deal with a lot of things, Star, but I cannot deal with pedophilia, man. I'm not defending anyone doing that. I don't care if it's my goddamn brother, my sister, my father, whoever. I want them out of here.
Well, he's out of here. So now, with regards to moving forward, do you have any suggestions, anything with regards to a support system for somebody who may, have a story, but they don't want to come out and be ridiculed on social media?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a tough situation because I grew up, in a certain neighborhood, and there was always that perception of you got to be tough and whatnot. But I know for a fact, a dude I used to hang out with when we were young.
I don't say any names. I just want to focus on.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying his name, but I'm just saying I knew several people that got touched when they were children, and they never came forward, man. Okay. They never came forward. They spoke to their friends at certain points in life about it or mentioned it, and it was almost like they were laughed at. Okay. Some people thought they were clout chasing, so it's important, to step forward and speak to people that can actually do something about it. But the sad part is, Star, unfortunately, if it's like a low income neighborhood or something, even the teachers and stuff aren't really trying to deal with that. Or the parents at home ain't got time because they're at work or something. You know what I mean?
through my research, I found that it's across the board. It's not just because of low-income areas. You have a lot of high-level pedophiles, and you have these different organizations, and they're looking for people to, to withstand certain pressure to excel in life. But anyway, any thoughts on any other topics? Frankie G, you're calling it from Canada?
Right. Yeah, man, he's out of here. Pack him up. I just find it hilarious, Star, that everyone flipped like a flapjack on Donald Trump, and he put out that tweet now going at Alex Jones and Candace Owens,
Megyn
and Tucker
Kelly.
Carlson, Megyn Kelly, calling them all like bozo.
Well, listen, I mean, we want to see him, not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. But
yeah, you want to see him push the button, Star, yeah?
Not necessarily push the button, but, when you're making threats, it reflects on the nation. You can be the commander-in-chief, but, trolling as far as being the commander-in-chief, we expect you to be on a different level, but hey, that's just who he is. Frankie G, got to go, man. Salute.
Absolutely, Star. Maybe it's...
Good guy. We'll talk about Trump another day. Guys, that's my email address on the screen. We're talking about Afrika Bambaataa. Out of here. I spoke to some people, good people this morning, maybe 5 or 6 people from my generation. 2 people older than me, 6, 7 years older than me. Zulu Nation. Again, there was never any issue. People try and make up lies to try and change the story. No. Everybody was recorded from the very first interview. Gotcha recorded, because you see, when you've done this, as I have done over the years, decades, you need insurance. You don't necessarily put that recording out there for the world to hear. You keep it in the tuck, as we used to say. Not from Michigan. I got your donation. Thank you very much. Okay, I just spoke to that person. Okay, sir, I can't get you on the line tonight. You're the guy who has the Jay-Z diss. Friday would be a good day for you, sir. Friday. Peace, King Simon. There you are. Aha.
Yes, greetings, sir. How you doing, sir?
Greetings, black man. How are you? What's going on with you, man?
Good, man. Just coming from that wake from Bob Law, the legendary radio personality.
Legendary, man. Okay.
Yeah, but I see we're talking about Mr. Bambaataa. Oof, man.
Yeah.
We produced a few events with that whole situation. Myself, Irritated Genie.
Yeah, I've been mentioning everybody, you especially you and Sarnetta and Red Pill, Blue Pill. My blood family, Supernova Slum. After I interviewed a bunch of people, what was that event that Sarnetta had? Where it wasn't the press conference yet. There was something in between. I forget. Remember that?
The one at Alhambra Ballroom.
Was that a debate? What was that? Because I came up there and do you remember that?
No, that was with Tazariak and Irritated Genie. That was talking about pedophilia and all the stuff.
Right. And then what was the timeline? A month later or weeks later, when you guys did the on 125th Street, you did a press junket, shall we say? When did that happen? I forget.
I thought the press conference happened before that event at Alhambra Ballroom. The press conference happened because that was on the street of 125th Street, around where the Hebrew Israelites usually gather. They gave us that spot to do it.
I could have swore I came up there weeks before them. Anyway, so we were talking about the importance of this particular topic. There was another guy who I forget his name is. I think it may have been something Muhammad, and he was talking about bringing
Ali Muhammad. Ali Muhammad.
Salute
Dr.
to
Ali
that
Muhammad.
man. And what was the dark skinned guy's name? Oh man, I'm forgetting his name. Herman Smalls. Herman Smalls.
Yes, Herman Smalls. Yes.
I actually went with Herman Smalls and his beautiful wife. I went and did a sit down interview with him because I was trying to make sure people knew that I was putting my face to the story. I've never been some person to just, talk on the mic and not be available. So there were a lot of people that heard me out, and I told them, hey, this has got some legs to it. With regards to the after effect, and I want you to speak to, what I experienced. Bambaataa never giving you guys, from the conscious community and others, that sit down that you deserved, right?
Right. He never gave us those that were on the media part of it. They've never given them any of that, that respect to at least talk about it in the public or even do a whole public forum. Like, remember, he used to do one. He used to come to all of our events, of course, at the National Black Theater.
Right.
And big up to everybody that was there.
Of course.
So this is going to be a very interesting thing, because I see people that support and people that don't support. We can never take away his impact in what they call music, in the genre of music. But this situation, we know when it comes to victims of molestation or torture, where I was tortured as a child. I wasn't molested, but I was tortured.
Wow.
So I know those type of things. If you're not, and then when to find out, like I tell people, when I found out that my cousins, them were tortured or beaten, or the females was molested, and this thing goes with psychological levels that need to be helped, need to be therapeutic. You have to go to therapy. And I understand. I've done the psychotherapy. I've done hypnosis. Just to balance myself out after a lot of that stuff. From a young age. And so, respect to all the victims of any form of molestation, either under BAM or whoever, whatever. All the alleged victims, everybody. Whatever it is. So I want to send respect to them, the women, the men, everybody. So that's been going through it, and I'm still healing. Started was really still healing from a lot. To the point that sometimes they can't even look at relatives or listen to his music or listen to anybody's music that, in that case, that have been a part of that. So, it's a sensitive subject. And I know you.
Well, hang on a second, because I think it's important for historical reference that the story finally be set straight. Because, again, prior to 2016, all of this fake news, misinformation, if you will, that had nothing to do with interviewing people. And I want to say again, as I've been saying over the decades, interview someone.
Yeah.
Don't just throw something together and say, I don't know, you guys go in the comments, I don't know. That doesn't help the reality of what has been happening. So with that being said, there were many people who finally did come forward. Is Pow Wow still alive from Soul Sonic Force? Let me Google. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. But I do want to say rest in peace to TC Islam.
Of course.
Who put in a lot of, he contacted me before he got taken out.
Yeah.
And I got back to him briefly, and I told him, just balance yourself out. I gave him some good advice, but he was crying. And I have to respect, he called me on Facebook Messenger, and we talked briefly, and then the next 2 weeks he was out, and that was, because him and I were good friends from back.
For those who don't know, TC Islam, he moved down to Georgia, and he was killed down there. Hold on a second.
Yeah. He was like one of the ministers of information for them back in the day too. And big up to Layla, of course. Always shout out to Layla. Yeah. I mean, no shout outs. I'm sorry. But
well, listen. I mean, salute to a lot of people. But let's talk about molestation, because again, this story has been going off the rails. All this who did what first. None of that means nothing if you didn't interview somebody. And I'm going to let it be known tonight. Never mind all those who expose it. Fuck all that weirdo shit. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Gossiping and being messy is not helping. So let's talk about moving forward, support systems and how other people can speak up. Please.
Yes. I would suggest, people like your relative, like Queen of Four, Supernova Islam, they have a segment of that deals with man and woman heal thyself. Mm-hmm. Very important, because they have encountered women and men that have gone through it also. People like her, and of course her son. And of course, I would recommend certain doctors like Dr. Watkins, Alicia Watkins, who's also that type of therapist, and other clinicians that deal with that. And then they could probably guide you to groups that can help, because sometimes it's not just the child and that have turned into adult, but it's still the child within them that have suffered.
Okay.
And they're still remembering, to the point that they're very careful and cautious with their children, protective, and very sometimes could be very overly protective. But in a society like this that promotes and that type of stuff, even in the churches and the temples, the mosques, all of this place, they promote this. Pedophilia is big in the Catholic Church, so we got to be very mindful, even where you submit your children for education or religious educational guidance anywhere. So I do tell people, make sure you go to reputable people that can help you. And like I said, I mentioned one of his relatives, Queen of Four and Supernova. Those people have been, especially Queen, has been doing it for years. She invited me to do an expo in August with her, so I'm definitely going to do that for her.
What about on a national level, King Simon? Because you are a traveler, on the national.
Yes,
I've got my 501c3 snitchnetwork.org, but this happens in a lot of different areas, not just in the New York projects. We could sit there all day and talk about who we know,
right.
and again, who, what happened to who. But at this point, there's got to be some type of possible, avenues to help others. Before you go, please.
Right. Like I said, Queen is not international now. Your relative is international, and I gotta just because she has access to everybody else after that. But a lot of places and culture, under cultural nuance, different cultures, like Bam used to travel outside to different. We don't even know what happened in those places. We don't know. I don't know. But places like that, we don't know if they have those type of mechanisms that can deal with those type of traumas amongst, because there's even religious places that you're allowed to marry people 13 and 9 and all that type of stuff. So we don't know how deep it is. There is a rabbit hole. We got Pizzagate.
Well, listen, I appreciate you, but I'm going to sit here and try and come up with some answers. I want to know.
Yes.
I want to know.
I know. Yes, I know, sir.
Great to talk to you, man. Salute.
Thank you, brother. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. It's my man, King Simon. Yes, folks, you're going to see a lot of rappers. I'm not going to sit here and kick nobody's back. And you're going to see some rappers, speaking about their relationship with Afrika Bambaataa. And I'm not mad at that. But again, in the same way how I have been avoiding the bullshit back and forth over the years, the nonsense, what do you do moving forward? I don't have kids. Well, none that I claim. Pow Wow passed away in 2025 from the Soul Sonic Force. Good man. He called me. We had a nice conversation because they used one of his pictures in the Daily News, and he had on the Indian, the head chief gear, and they made reference to him as being Afrika Bambaataa. I said, hey, man, I'll put a call in, but I don't necessarily know, what to do about that. Florida Boy Jay, you're calling in, sir. I got your email. Blade, I got your email. Thank you so much. Guys, we'll get back to another day, some of these other stories. I want us to stay focused here with regards to this legacy that has been kept secret for many, many years in the New York tri-state. Secret. I've got detailed notes. I've got 3 big-ass binder books. Because whenever I do stories like this, and I've broken stories over the years, in case you don't know, I brought out Patrice Griffin against X-Clan. You guys may or may not know. There were other, I brought out Jessica Reed against Charlemagne. I didn't want to go down that path. But her family, when they first reached out to me, I said, I don't know about this. 2 months later, her brother sent me the receipts to prove that in 2001, Jessica Reed was indeed raped. Now, Charlemagne took a deal, so I can't say for certain, he's the guy, but she has been standing on business over the years. She just wanted to be left alone, wasn't looking for a bag. She just wanted him to stop talking about her, stop trying to clown her. She had moved on, got herself a career, beautiful babies. I say that to say that, keeping detailed notes and things like that is a must when you do this type of journalism, research, if you will. You have to cover yourself. You can't just let people say anything on your platforms, bring you into a lawsuit. You got to be ready. My girlfriend at the time, some of you know this already, when I was talking to her about the receipts that Jessica Reed's brother had sent me via email, a whole lot of goddamn receipts. He must have been at the flat scanner, scanning and all this stuff from the South Carolina Medical Examiner's Office. My girlfriend at the time, her name was Spicy. She said, "Oh, you're not going to do this story? I thought you was the hater." And the rest is history. Hey, Cherie, I got your donation. Thank you so much. Let's talk about moving forward. What do we do? I'm sorry. I got somebody on hold here. Is that white boy Rory who goes 10 toes down?
Yo,
who cams up? He ain't scared of nobody. Let's go.
Ain't never scared of nobody. Definitely BX in the building.
What's going on, man?
BX.
What's going on?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, like fear and money is what kept Bambaataa going, man. Fear and money.
I agree.
A lot of these, I'm not gonna go there with callers, but a lot of people feared Bambaataa.
Mm-hmm.
Bambaataa was a gangster. They don't talk about that. Like, they don't want to say that. They don't want to acknowledge that.
Right.
But Bambaataa was a real gangster.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, he's from one of the toughest eras in New York City. He had the biggest gang in New York City. He had white guys, Puerto Ricans, blacks, everything in his gang. The movie, Warriors, that's the Black Spades, man. That's the Benji, the one that got shot. That's the Black Spades. Bambaataa was a bad dude. Like, Bambaataa beat you up.
Well, hang on a second. Now, he caught a lot of props because of the success of the music, but now
that was later.
Yeah, but hang on. With regards to the impact in the New York tri-state, you're right. Because of the money, that they gained more power and they were able to intimidate people. So there's more people who I spoke to. I have two other interviews that I never even released because after the storm started going on in 2016 into 2017, both of those guys contacted me and said, "Can you please not put that interview out?" Well, in fact, one of the guys' wives said, "Star, we rock with you, but don't put that out. You're going to mess up what we have going on." Now, they were in I forget what state, let me not even say, but grandkids, and they just didn't want all that being brought back up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, people knew about it before then. Like, you did the breakout story on it. You had the cojones to do the breakout story on it. But there was a lot of people who had enabled that for a long time. It was money, but it was fear. But the money didn't just come from before hip hop. The money came from taxing. They were taxing drug dealers because they were doing this whole thing where they were like, we're like, we're not going to ruin the neighborhood. Right. We're not drug dealers. We're not doing that. But the reality was they had to pay a tax to the Black Spades. Yeah. And then, the Black Spades eventually, everything branched off and they were drug dealers too. But that organization stayed for a long time, a really long time, up until like the mid-90s. I left the neighborhood. When I left the Bronx, the black spades were still around. They had older guys who were black spades. They would rob drug dealers, tax drug dealers. Right. For real. Yeah. You know, so Bambaataa was feared. Whether people like it or not, Bambaataa's a legend, a Bronx legend.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a whole fact. And hip hop is intertwined with his legend, with his legacy. You know, the origins of hip hop are intertwined with that. And then when you see like the industry and you're like, why is it all sadomasochist and all of this? If you look at its origins, you know, the guy was a booty bandit. He was one of them big black bumpers that you would meet in Rikers. That's a whole fact. I mean, that's Bambaataa. Bambaataa's a big black guy, like, 6'3".
He's out of here. Now, hang on a second, Rory. I want to talk about possible avenues now and support groups and or systems. We can sit here all day and talk about the past. He's out of here. I've already been contacted by people who know and respect me from that camp, so they know how I give it up. Nobody's going to tell me what not to say.
A lot of them were intimidated, like you've said throughout the interview and the process of that whole story.
But hold on, I want to focus on if you have any information, knowledge about now, young people now, because I'm going to say it again. The story changed me. I can't look at young people in those types of settings without thinking about somebody being violated. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a cop or anything, but any personal experience, any avenues or counselors, anything that you can suggest with regards to young people or older people who may have been touched and they suppressed those feelings. What about now?
Well, thank God for me personally. Thank God. No, I wasn't from his generation. I was a little older. I just heard stories and stuff, and I did see like the black spades. They were like, drug addicts and stuff. No, and my mom would never let me and my brother be an altar boy. She was like, no, hell no, because we went to religious school like twice a week after public school. We went to catechism. They called it catechism, and they wanted us to be altar boys. My mom was like, no, hell no. So no, I never had no personal experience, and be honest with you, Star, I don't really know anybody that ever went through that. I sympathize with them. I definitely do. But with some of the stories with like Poppy and stuff, like justice was out there. If you wanted justice, especially here in New York, they passed all types of laws for like sexually abused people and minor people. And if you were upset about that and you really felt like something bad happened to you and you were violated, you had avenues to get justice. But
I'm going to jump in right there. I'm going to take it by myself in that particular direction because there are people who suppress a lot of those feelings. This is what I've learned since doing these interviews, breaking these types of stories. I'm not going to kick anybody's back in or saying, oh, well, you should have said something. But land your plane, man. I'm backed up on calls. Good to hear from you. Land your plane, please.
Yeah, well, I know it's probably, I never went through it, so I can't say, but it's probably a hard thing for people to step up and try to get justice. But I think it's important because it does help stop them and from further people being victimized, So, I can't say, but it's a hard thing.
Right.
But he is a Bronx legend, for good or bad or ugly.
Good to talk to you.
All right, so.
Homie Rory. Let me say this because it's important with regards to the Afrika Bambaataa story. Again, he lost a judgment. He didn't go to court. He didn't want to face the John Doe. I don't know the John Doe. At some point, I just pulled back off of the story because it became this thing of people just saying, oh, well, who said what first? Who did what first? Who gives a fuck? That became my feeling. Who gives a fuck? Focus on molestation. And it became this drain of just online bullshit. Again, I don't have my binders here with me with regards to the files and the notes and things like that, but I learned, and you tell me if I'm wrong, sometimes people, or a lot of the times, people suppress what happened to them. They don't want to be reminded. They don't want to go to therapy. They don't want to tell their kids or their spouse. And sometimes people just want to get away. Yes, no, let me look in live chat. Everybody's not looking for a bag. Someone says you can see the stress in my face. Not now. I live a great life. I always have, but I was stressed during that goddamn time. I was dealing with so much just bullshit. Grown men crying. I said, whoa, that was something new for me. Grown men, who had careers. I had two people that, after I interviewed them, called me the next day and said, can you please not put that out? I said, well, listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. But what we spoke about, and I recorded it, I think it might help others. So, again, if you've got any experience with molestation or a family member or something like that, sometimes it's good to get it out. Sometimes. I can't say all the time, but sometimes it's good to get it out, all right? Got a bunch of other things I want to mention here this evening. Hold on. I spoke about support systems. Guys, in my community section, I posted a video, a new video from someone who calls into the show. She may or may not want to call in and speak about it, but it's under the section that says post. That's the community section. If you can go there, give it a thumbs up. Okay, that would be appreciated. Somewhere around the mid-90s, I think it may have been 1994, 1995. I have everything scanned. I've got some things, again, in the binders, all sorts of Post-it notes. That's how I came up, very old school. And I have a New York Times article where the Zulu Nation was banned from Bronx River. Anybody from the BX ever heard of that? They were banned because they were terrorizing people in the projects. So I'm sure there's more people who, went through what some of you have gone through. And with regards to, this whole Epstein files thing, I'm like, what the fuck? Never mind that. Let's talk about molestation in the black areas. Hold on a second. I saw somebody in the queue. What happened to Colleen? Colleen, where are you? What happened? I thought you were there. I don't know. Let me go to area code 504. Late night, are you there? 504, talking about a few topics. Good evening, good evening, good evening. 504.
Good evening, Star.
Hey, who's this?
Good evening, Star.
Hey.
It's Harry Lee 9.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I want to say I'm great. And I'm so grateful that you are covering this story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love that you are brave enough to have this conversation when nobody wanted to hear it. The very first time I ever heard of this conversation was from you. Now, I'll just give you my backstory on it.
Come on.
I am a nurse by trade.
Okay.
And I worked in a hospital. So I was working 12-hour shifts. And it was really, really bad on me in terms of trying to be a mother, a wife, things like that. There was a position open in the prison system in the area where I'm from. And so it was the 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, no weekends, whatever. Anyway, I took this position, took a pay cut, and I had never, ever been inside of a prison ever in my life. Never been in jail, never any of it.
Okay.
Anyway, what I realized was the inmates that were coming down, I was having a real problem because I was considering them as patients, which is what I always knew.
Okay.
But the high-ranking officers kept saying to me, they are not patients, they're inmates. I said, but they're human beings. And he said to me, they're not human beings in here. With that being said, I will go into their files because I'm a researcher. I research everything. I love to know the why. And I've been that way since I was a kid. So anyway, I go into these guys' files. And it's hundreds of people. They would come down for different sick calls. They were sick to see me and the doctor, whatever. Anyway, I realized at a certain age that each of these guys committed crime. It was like at some point their spirit was broken. And it was in between the ages of, in between 13 and 15.
Okay.
Their spirits were broken. So I was sitting and have conversations with these, they were men at this point. Okay. Because I was in the men's prison, and the guys who were at the place were housed where I was the nurse at, they were all going to be basically doing football numbers. They were your murderers, your armed robbers, your killers, things like that. They were going to be doing football numbers. And I'm talking about these were young men, 16, 17 years old, that were being tried.
Can I interject for a second so that we keep the call moving? Did molestation play a part in anything with regards to their evolution?
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had been molested as young boys in between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. But the behavior didn't manifest until they became teenagers.
Right.
So these guys who people are calling your YNs, who are they don't care about life.
Right.
They crash out.
Mm-hmm.
Those young guys had been molested as children, and nobody cared. And so they walked around with this anger inside of them, and the fear of being considered a homosexual. So what happened was, while I was doing my research, I had just got on social media around the same time that this information dropped about Afrika Bambaataa molesting these young boys. Yeah. And your story that you did with Hassan, the other guy, I think his name was Bumby or something like that, something with a B.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Hassan Campbell came out first on Facebook. And I didn't see his video. After I interviewed 2 people, I was then notified by one of my supporters. She sent me the video file. She said, Star, this guy came out months ago, but he took the video down. I
never heard of those people.
Yeah, I then posted the video on my YouTube page, and some of the older guys, again, who I knew we had a good rapport, they called me on a 3-way. But they were very selective with their words. Nobody was trying that tough shit. And I told them, well, I'm not taking his video down because he came out first. So he now gives credit to the other interviews that I did. But let me just say this, because I appreciate you taking the time to tell your story. I'm a high school dropout, so I learned about behavioral studies. And as you just described, that period that I guess maybe some of them suppress, or it builds up at some point, they lash out. Yes?
Correct.
Come on.
Correct. Absolutely correct. I don't know if you remember, but there's a Chris Rock comedy show when he did I don't know if it's Black on Black or whatever it's called, but he speaks about an uncle who is a molester, and the relative, the child would go into this particular uncle's room or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And the older person would say, why did you go to Uncle Johnny's room? You know he's the molester. Yeah. And through my research, because I was researching all of these things at the same time, the young guys who are crashing out, the mass incarceration, and more importantly, the village that disappeared. Okay. And with that is that I realized that young Black men didn't have a vehicle. They didn't have a voice to be able to speak what they were feeling, what they was going through, and what their abuses were. Yeah. We were only, in terms of the community, was only focused on Black girls. Yeah. Unless, support these black girls and black girls rock and this, that, and the third. But the black boys were being left behind. And it's almost like even with their mental illness, nobody actually cares about the black boy or the black man.
Yeah.
So it made me, it thrust me into that area. And I wasn't on social media at all. I'm so busy with work. So I didn't see what was happening on Facebook. But I read the article. I think it was in the Daily Mail or something with you and everything you did. And I was like, wow, this man is so brave. Because people were
I like to say that I'm stupid because
no, sir, I'm sorry. I got to give you your props.
Well, thank you.
I have to give you your props. I appreciate you. I love everything that you do.
Oh, thank you much.
You crazy, but you're crazy like me. I'm the same kind of crazy.
Okay.
And I love it.
All right.
I love that you took this story and you took it serious and you brought it to the world.
Oh, yeah.
But the world can hear what was happening to black boys. It did everything for me. It was absolutely beautiful. To this day, it my eyes water with tears.
Okay. I appreciate the call. I got to bring other people in. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. Okay. It's a nice call. I'm coming to the phone. Just sit tight. Thank you for your Cash App donations. I'm trying to get them on the screen. Okay, we do have a goal at the top of the live chat. If you would be so kind to support this particular live, okay. One of the hardest stories that I broke, for those of you who may or may not know, Patrice Griffin. And I want to be very sensitive. She was gang raped by, according to her, members of the group X-Clan. She provided receipts. She took them to court. She even sued the studio where some of this allegedly happened. You guys remember Patrice Griffin? If not, Google her, Patrice Griffin. And let me also say this with regards to, again, just me learning about this stuff, having broken these stories. The caller who I just spoke to, she's right. There can be some type of, and I'm not choosing the right words, incubation period, right? That at some point a person, male or female, lashes out. See, that's the way I see Hassan Campbell. Yes, he lashes out. Yes, he says crazy shit. I don't watch him too often, and I don't say that to be disrespectful. I trust him. He has already walked the walk. But he lashes out because he's damaged. And that's not said from a place of trying to harm him. He's damaged. So when you see pictures of him in Afrika Bambaataa years later, he was raised in that Zulu Nation empire. That was an empire, for those who don't know. Okay. Guys, sit tight in the queue. Somebody was holding on who I was trying to get on the line. I'm trying not to ramble too much this evening, but this is important. I'm sorry. And salute to the people who I also interviewed. I must have interviewed maybe 15 people that had nothing to do with being molested, but they were telling. Hell, I wasn't threatening people, but I was saying, hey, tell me something, because so-and-so said you were there, and I can put you there. Let me go to area code 201. Hey there, good evening. Please watch the language. 201, we're talking about Afrika Bambaataa, a.k.a. Lance Taylor. He's now deceased. 201.
Yes, hey, Star.
Hey.
First of all, I do want to agree with the other caller. Thank you for this conversation.
Oh, you're welcome.
My name is Yolanda. I'm actually a friend of King Simon's.
Oh, okay. Good man.
Yes, he is. And my thing is this, the solution, because I'm so happy you're talking about solutions,
right.
okay?
Right.
The first solution that we must recognize is not shaming the victims. When this story first broke, I remember so many boys, they were talking about their story, and underneath the comments in some of the YouTube videos, people were shaming them and calling them gay and saying just all kinds of reckless stuff, okay? And so what it does, it makes victims, other victims who have not yet told their stories, apprehensive on coming out.
Right.
All right? So the first step we all have a duty. Every last one of us have a duty not to shame the victim. That's number one.
I agree.
If we don't shame these victims, more victims will come out and tell their story while these people are alive. They will feel more protected. I think that there probably are a whole bunch more people out there that we don't know about that was a victim to this man.
Oh, yeah.
But hopefully they'll come out. And if they do, we need to show them some mother plucking, because I'm not going to curse, mother plucking respect. And first, let them know that they are loved and thank you for telling their story. And then offer them resources afterwards. But
if I can jump in right there, that's what made me become so just, for a while I was distant with the story. It's like, stop with this. Who said what first? Who gives a goddamn? Get involved, help somebody, interview somebody. And it just seemed like this goofy ass narrative that people wanted credit for something. What about, as you just said, the solutions? I'm going to keep on saying that the goddamn story changed me.
Right.
So I couldn't sit there and just do, some type of ha 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 he he, because when you talk to people who, were grandparents, I'm talking to grandparents, and they have kids in their 40s. They didn't really want to talk because they didn't know me like that, and they're not sure what I'm going to say or do. And I said, hey, trust me on this one as best you can. And I'll, if you want me to, I used to tell them, if you want me to take the video down, no problem. I had to take most of those videos down for a while because there was just too much silliness going on. But go ahead.
Yeah. And it's just sad. See, people need to, oh my goodness, if you are an abuse victim, okay, especially if you're older now, know that you are protected.
Right.
That's number one. Know that you are protected. All right. And say something so that you can prevent other people from being abused. That's the thing. So many victims are shamed into silence, especially the boys. And I'm happy that lady in the prior call talked about the prisoners in the system, because that's where they go from being silent. They go right to prison or they're dead.
Right.
Or they're molesting other people. Okay. They're going to repeat some type of cycle. But we need to let these people know that they are protected and they also are respected. That's number one.
Yeah.
That's the start to mitigating this problem right there. Also, what it will do by them telling their story, right? Younger people who are being abused in other households will find the strength to tell their story too.
Okay.
Seriously, straight up. Now, I'm a abuse victim, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear that.
And you know how it's all good, bro. It's all good. You know what made me or gave me the strength to tell my story?
Come on.
It was a movie called Women of Brewster Place.
I remember that.
You remember that movie? Yeah. Lynette McGee was raped.
Right.
In that movie, right? And towards the end, all the women got together and they tore down that wall that was just such a detrimental sight in the community, right? Yeah. When that movie was over, bro, I went up to my mama and told her everything that was happening to me. And because I got the strength through an image. Mm-hmm. But if I had never seen that movie, I don't think I would have ever said anything. Yeah. I don't know. That's what these...
Are you a mother? Are you a mother? You a mother?
No. What?
Are you a mother? Do you have children?
Oh, am I a mother? Oh, yes, I am a mother. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. My son is 20 years old. Okay. And when he was young, growing up, I always told my son, I don't care what a ninja say to you out there in them streets. He can't say, if you tell, I'm gonna kill you and your family. My mama got the power. I got the power. Right. You tell me if anybody ever touch you. And I always gave my son that language. Don't touch me. Back up. I gave him the language of protecting himself and his body. Right. All right. And that's something that parents must do to their children. If you love your children, you too would give them that language of setting boundaries with adults and also other kids, because other kids molest other kids.
Bingo.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to stop the shame around molestation and abuse, especially with boys, because girls, it's like almost expected that we are molested because we're girls, right? But when a boy come out and say he's molested, even by a woman, he is shamed. And the next thing people say, oh, why are you complaining? You must have liked it. Oh, a man raped you? Oh, you must have let him do it.
Yeah.
Because they figuring, oh, you're a boy, somebody can't overpower you.
Right, right.
But sometimes it's not even about physical, Star. It's about mental power. Mental.
You're right.
Somebody can overpower you mentally and have you taking off your clothes and getting raped. Seriously, straight up. Which I think is in a lot of those cases with Afrika Bambaataa, because they're looking at his power, his prestige, all that shit that he was. Excuse me, or his, his image in the community was so huge.
Yeah.
And another thing, you just broke my heart telling me about Patrice Griffin. I never knew X-Clan did that to that girl. My heart is.
She won that lawsuit. She won that lawsuit.
She did. Good.
She did. Yeah, yeah.
But these are the men I grew up watching. Like, I'm sitting there like 10 years old watching Video Music Box, watching the red, the black, and the green.
Right.
With a kick. And I'm like,
Professor X, according to Patrice Griffin.
That is sick.
Listen, I got to take other calls. Great to hear from you, darling.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye now.
You're welcome, man.
Bye. Area code 678. Good evening. Please watch the language. Are you there?
Hi, what's up, son? What's up, son?
Are you in a
What's
headset,
happening,
sir?
man?
You're in a headset or speakerphone? A little trouble hearing you.
Oh, yeah, I'm on speakerphone. Okay, I'll take it off speaker. Hold up.
Okay.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Yes, sir. We're talking about Afrika Bambaataa. He's now with Jesus.
Yeah,
What say you?
This is what I want to say about that, man. Is that all these guys were teenagers and nobody forced them to do nothing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I really don't care because, they voluntarily did it. You feel me? And if it was a woman, then, it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
You feel me? But being that is the Afrika Bambaataa thing, everybody got an issue. You know what I'm saying? A bit like making it a big thing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But these were teenagers.
Are you trolling, sir, or are you serious? Because I don't mind you trolling, but I want you to stand on what you're saying.
No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious.
Well, hang on, sir. Let's address it. I don't run from calls. Now, you know all of those men to be of age. Where are you getting your information from?
Everybody that came on your show.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. They were not all of age, sir. Everybody who came on my show and spoke about it was not of age, sir.
Okay, what was the youngest that they say?
Thank you for the call, sir. Thank you. Thank you. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Just say you don't know, but don't call it and try and say, they all lying. No, sir. I put in a lot of
No, I didn't say they was lying. I didn't say they was lying, Star.
In a sense,
I said they were.
In a sense, you're saying
they were teenagers. They were teenagers, young men.
No, sir.
Or young teenagers, right?
Sir. Pre-teen, sir.
Choice. They nobody forced them to do nothing.
Pre-teens. But go ahead, land your plane. I'm not running from your call. Land your plane.
I ain't had nothing. Nobody said they was a pre-teen.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Let me go to area code 646. Thank you for your patience. Please watch the language. Are you there? 646. Yes, no, maybe.
Hey, Star, what up? What up?
Yes, sir. How are you?
What up, bro? What's going on, man?
How are you, sir?
Every now and then you hang up on me, but I got to send a shit out to Hassan Camel, man, because I don't know how he...
So we don't do shout-outs? We don't do shout-outs? Please respect my platform. If you would acknowledge the man, that's cool, but I've never...
Sir. Okay.
Go ahead,
acknowledgement to the guy, But I guess it's a love and hate for him. I don't know. I mean, for me personally, man, I never had nobody try no tricks on me like that, man. And I was just telling wife of the day as we was crossing the railroad tracks. And I don't know what made me think about this as we was crossing the railroad tracks. Because I was saying to myself, man, if anybody had ever tried that, I would have had to come back. and do, street justice. I don't want to, so I don't know, you know what I mean? So in terms of hip hop, yeah, he was an icon or whatever, but I don't know what was going on, man. I wasn't there.
How old are you, sir, and where you from? How old are you and where you from?
40. Yeah, I'm from New York, the Big Apple. You call me the Big Apple, man. All the boroughs, I've been around.
Well, here's the thing. So I say this with all due respect, a lot of people say, yo, I'd have done this. I'd have shot the place. That sounds hot. That sounds hot, sir. But when you're talking about minors who feel pressured, or if a bunch of people grab you and hold you down, put a gun to your head, you don't know what you would have done, sir. Down in Florida, a little 12-year-old girl was held down and a boy put rocks in her mouth. Did you see that story?
Yeah, I saw that story. I'm not necessarily talking about at the time that it happened, because I know, you could be under pressure, whatever, you could be outnumbered. But I'm talking about just thinking about it now as a as a grown man. I'm saying, like, wow, like I'd have been on the vengeance that a lot of people might not even understand. You know what I mean? So
that sounds hot. Sounds hot. I don't know if I believe it, but it sounds hot.
Like that. Hot. Yeah, like that.
Okay. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Those are the main ones. Yo, niggas would have died. All it would have took was a nigga 5 years older than you. Slap you. And then violate you. I can't imagine it, but I'm not going to sit here and, act like, oh, yeah, nah, shit. Yo, I'd have crashed out. You don't know what you would have done. Area code 646. Please watch the language. Good evening. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, Star. How are you? Late Jay.
Hey, did we speak before?
Such a pleasure.
Did we speak before?
We spoke through Shabazz, Boys and Girls Club, Shabazz.
Peace to the God. Peace to the God.
Yep. And so I wanted to, I worked on Rikers Island. I worked in homeless services. I worked in youth services. Been around Afrika Bambaataa on 2 different occasions, did an interview with him, and also stayed in Bronx River for a while. Okay. My cousin is from Bronx River, and so he's a rapper from Bronx River, and he told me of why he didn't get out, right?
Are you talking about Born Love?
No, his name is Salik.
Okay.
He was so Salik in Bronx River, but told me about these instances of the young kids in Bronx River and what they were going through and how Afrika Bambaataa really jammed them up, right? Like if they didn't want to get down, their music was stomped. And there was and then talked about how coming out of the Bronx, a lot of music got stopped, and how Queens really got their messages out because he was stopping up everything in Bronx River. And so and then maybe a month or so ago, talked to a young guy who said, they were talking about Poppy and everything. And they were talking about how, he was saying, well, Afrika Bambaataa really was taking us out. He was the one that was getting us out the community and stuff. Everybody knew.
That's a fact.
And then,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Bam was.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Bam used to take a lot of the young guys on tour, buy them White Castles. I've heard all sorts of stories, and I have validated a lot of stories. So can you fix that in the background here? A lot of stories. Stories I have validated. So yeah, so he had a predatory nature. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I thought that was like crazy. And then, like I said, I've been around him a couple times and saw how he's kind of, he was kind of creepy, and quiet in the corner and things of that nature. And it's a shame because so many people go through this. And then I look at this and say, if you look at the present state of hip hop, if he was one of the founders of hip hop and one of the founders touched people throughout their time in hip hop, and then you look at, the doors that people are that have to go through in hip hop. Is it a connection between that? Because I don't think that it
absolutely
stops. I think
absolutely
it starts with him, but I don't think it stopped. I think it was like.
Did you hear what I said, dear?
Hip hop and how it is.
You hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
I said, absolutely, there is a connection.
Yeah.
People are trying to get acceptance. You're talking about an industry where the average person doesn't need to be educated to get in, to be someone's roadie, entourage, if you will. If you can pretend to be the thug, I'll crash out, you can get yourself a slot, amongst, whatever artist is popping at the time. So you have a lot of the lower tier who thrive off of those types of situations. There's a lot of stories. I mean, I don't like to do all sorts of gossipy tea and stuff, but there's a lot of rappers who have gone on tour, violated not just women, but other males. And, so some of them have said, hey, this ain't the life that I want. I don't mean to put names out, but there have been rappers that I'm sure you would know, went overseas and caught rape charges.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, yes, there is a door, if you will, or some type of acceptance that they're looking for to get in and to continue the cycle of just debauchery. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, call in because it is a great topic today, and so many people have been hurt and touched. And it's something that happens in the Black community a lot, so I think that, so many people can't get it out. I have stories myself that I keep to myself just because, but that was my choice.
Okay.
And, so it's just, so to this extent, I still say, rest in peace with the man, because I think that he died with this, burden with him,
Okay. I appreciate the call, darling.
So,
Thank you. Thank you so
much.
much.
Thanks a lot. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You don't have to like my approach. You don't even have to like me. But the topic is very, very serious. Sometimes with regards to people who go through things, victims, I have to draw a line so that I'm not, crossing the line of being a journalist and getting a little too personal and or making someone feel too comfortable with me. Because if I find out that you're lying, I'll come at you just as hard. Some people do things because they're looking for attention. And then when they get the attention, they change it up. I think accusing people of things that they didn't do, I think that can be just as hurtful and harmful. Yes, no, in the live chat. Anybody ever been accused of something that you did not do and it ruined your life, your career, things that you worked for, relationships, friendships, sometimes family, spiteful family. Oh, my goodness. Spiteful family. Hey, Cherie, I got your donation. Thank you so much. Alejandro, good to hear from you, sir. Yes, we do have a goal at the top of the live chat. If you'd be so kind to support the machine, that would be a good thing. Okay. Somebody tapping in from Canada. Hey there, area code 647. Please watch the language. Good evening. Are you there?
Yes, I am here. Good evening to you, Star, and I appreciate you doing this show tonight.
How are you? Where do you want to start?
Yeah, and okay, I wanted to come at this. My name's Eitan, and I wanted to come at this from a completely different angle that you haven't covered tonight on this program. And this is from, you could say, from someone who was a former supporter of the UZN, who worked with Bambaataa in a capacity to support the Universal Zulu Nation.
Okay.
And one of the things I wanted to say tonight is the shock that I had as I'd been working with them for a number of different years, relative to even at the beginning of the establishment of the Hip Hop Museum, before the ground had broken, that I had discussions with Bambaataa and a number of his associates about how a museum could be built with a structure called the geodesic dome, and a number of other things related to doing something really innovative in the Bronx that had not been done before. And I first found out about this situation actually in 2014 from someone who lived in River Park Projects, who told me, because I had a special event that I had to do in 2014 in New York City. And I was telling this particular person, whom I'd known since I was a child, that one of the prominent members of the UZN was going to be in this event. And his response to me was, "Hey, brother, don't be putting them faggots in your stuff. It's too important." And then I went on to kind of like try to, to get him to give me more information. And he kind of ran down what it was. And I couldn't believe it. And I went back to another associate I was working with and told him what I heard. And I just couldn't believe what he told me. And I just passed it on. Just, okay, we'll just let it go. We let it happen.
I have to jump in and say what you're saying right now is just hearsay. It's alleged. But now can I ask you?
Okay, well, let me.
Can I ask you to?
I can elaborate.
Okay. Can you get to the point, though? Because I do want to try and talk about now possible solutions or avenues for other people to take. I have gone down the path of this story for a decade. I don't want to just rehash everything, but go ahead.
Okay, I won't rehash it. I just want to establish my position in this to let you know that I was working with the Universal Zulu Nation. I wanted to talk about how the thing about Bambaataa's death today, it's a situation that I can tell you that has been so damn frustrating over the years, especially when you have Sister Layla Wills, who had been fighting to get this information out along with you, and was attacked by so many people in the community, so many black men whom I used to work with and thought that they were warriors for the community. And the anger that they directed towards this sister, who was actually trying to protect our children, but they turned the rage on a sister that and these people fully well knew exactly what Bam was doing. They knew what he was doing. So many people within the hip hop community that knew it. And they knew that if I knew that this was happening, that there's no way that I would even be in proximity to that kinds of shit.
So you have to watch the language.
Okay, yeah.
Now I have to jump in. I'm getting backed up on calls. Okay, how many years?
Yes, sir.
How many years were you with the Universal Zulu Nation? How many years?
It was over a decade, well over a decade, going back and then also connected to hip hop from the beginning. I used to do the flyers for pretty much everybody. So I watched all of this and never saw evidence of anything that Bambaataa did. But what the reality is that this isn't even over, because there are so many people that are connected in concentric circles that allowed Bambaataa to do what he was doing and did absolutely nothing about it, and stood by and allowed for children to be molested.
I hate to cut you short, sir. I have interviewed a bunch of people, over 25 people. So, and the way I interview, I take notes, I get people's permission, and I always ask them, if I need you to stand in court and say what you said, will you do that? So Bambaataa had every chance to defend the accusations. He's gone now. I wish you all the best. And if you can do something from this point moving forward, salute you. But I'm not going to sit here and rehash the past. Thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't hang up on him. Hey, Colleen, Bronx native. How are you?
I'm very well this evening, Star. How are you?
Good. What's going on? We're talking about the passing of Lance Taylor. Cancer took him out of here. A slow death.
That wasn't good enough as far as I'm concerned. So you should have doused him with gasoline and set him up.
Easy.
All right. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
What's going on?
So I'm not here to rehash. I'm here to provide resources for anybody who may be listening and doesn't know where to go and they don't know who to talk to. First of all, understanding the suppressed and recovered trauma. RAINN.org is an excellent resource.
Right.
RAINN.org. It explains dissociation, repressed memory, and delayed disclosure.
Come on.
Then there's the NSDRC, National Sexual Violence Resource Center. There's specialized therapy and treatment, EMDR. You could go to the EMDRIA.org. It's widely used for suppressed trauma recovery.
Okay.
I'm going to send this all to you in an email, and I hope you could put it up in the community section, even if I have to sponsor you to put it up in the community section.
I'll do it. I would be glad to. Come on.
International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies, that's ISTSS.org, and its treatment guidelines and provider directory. Psychology Today. If you go to Psychology Today and you filter by trauma and PTSD and sexual abuse, you'll find good treatment personnel for that as well.
Okay.
Open Path Collective is important. Open Path Collective. It's affordable trauma therapy nationwide. Then you have peer support and survivor communities, which is also important because people, I know that there are a lot of people that have called in and said, why did they say anything, blah, blah, blah. I get it. People that have never experienced anything like that will say that, and sort of like, victim blaming. Yeah. So sometimes people will find comfort in peer and support survivor communities. The RAINN online hotline, it's hotline.rainn.org, RANN, it's two N's. AfterSilence.org, it's an online support community for survivors. And then in this specific context, MaleSurvivor.org. It's specifically for male survivors of sexual trauma.
I'm familiar with that platform because on my 501c3 website, snitchnetwork.org, we have links as well. So please email that stuff to me when you get time so we can, get that posted.
There's a host of help out there for people. Right. You are not alone. As you know, I'm an educator. I'm a mandated reporter in my capacity as such, especially working with children who have already passed through the juvenile justice system. Okay. They have all talked to me and spoken to me. And before they commenced with telling me their stories, I've had to say to them, I am a mandated reporter. Right. So I have to report this. I don't care who it is. And if you need my phone number, you need to talk to me, that's fine. I had a specific phone number delegated to me by the school. But you're not alone.
Okay.
People want to help you. There are actually motorcycle gangs.
Let me jump in here for a second, Colleen. It's been a while since I've checked the data, the percentages, if you will, of males, older males who don't want to talk about the past.
1 in 6.
1 in 6?
1 in 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Over
1 in 6. It's just like
over the decades, I have heard through friends that were correction officers, there's a good amount. I'm not going to say a lot, but there's a good amount of guys in, whether it be the county jail or prison, who do get raped. Yes. They get raped.
Yes.
And they don't say nothing. They do something as simple as following somebody else to go, what they think they're going to go get a cigarette. 4 or 5 guys grab them, hold them down, whammo.
That's extremely traumatic.
So they want to suppress that, but that's just some of the things that I've come to know, and some of these numbers that you've just put out there are great. Please email that to me and land your plane. I'm backed up on calls.
There are 3 really good books that I'd like to recommend for people to read. I need everybody to be active listeners, okay? And you could get the audio book, because sometimes victims of trauma have a very difficult time reading, believe it or not. It's better for them to actually listen.
Okay.
The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. Bessel van der Kolk. Courage to Heal is another book. Ellen Bass and Laura Davis.
Okay.
And then there's Trauma and Recovery by Judith Herman. I wish everybody peace, light, and love in their journey to healing. Wow. It's not easy, but I know it can be done. I'm speaking firsthand.
Okay.
So I just want everybody to take care of themselves. Be gentle, be kind with yourself.
Okay.
And, you got to one step. The journey to 1,000 miles begins with one step, and you can do it. And there are people out there who will help you. So
great to talk to you, Colleen.
Good night.
Great to talk to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Colleen tapping in. 646, good evening. Please watch the language. Afrika Bambaataa, now with Jesus. Yes, no? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Star?
I'm good. Who am I speaking to?
This is Sean.
How are you, Sean?
I'm well, thank you. I was calling in first and foremost to commend you for taking on such a serious story back then.
Okay.
And my question is more on the journalistic side because I have a journalistic background.
Okay.
And my first question would be, how did you handle such a serious topic? Like, did you ever have a point in your mind where you was like, this is, overwhelming, or this is becoming a circus? And what inspired you to keep on pursuing this?
Well, that particular story, I wasn't really too sure about. I have interviewed people over the decades, from a lot of different backgrounds. But that story, again, we've been hearing about Afrika Bambaataa over the decades, those of us from the New York tri-state. And somewhere around 2001, as I said, a woman came to my job, Hot 97, 5:30 in the morning. I was coming in, and I wasn't dismissive, but I'm drinking bourbon in a 7-Up can, and she's trying to show me pictures of her son. She made some accusations, but her son was dead, so there was nothing I could do. I said, well, you should contact the police. So over the years, again, we've heard, those of us in the entertainment field, we've heard the rumors about Afrika Bambaataa being gay. But we didn't care. We didn't care. Again, I don't know how old you are, but hip-hop has always had banjee boys. That's a very old term. Homo thugs. So we didn't trip off of that. But in 2016, someone came to me, and I wasn't sure about him either. And I was very, very cool with the guys in the Zulu Nation over the decades. Never had no issues. But I said, okay, the person who I interviewed, I said, I need to see some of your background. Who are you? I don't want to just hear about, back in the days. Who are you now? And with respect to that first interview, I wasn't too sure about him. I really wasn't. But as the interviews went on, and as I said, Hassan Campbell, when he came out, or when I saw his Facebook video, because he was the first one to come out, but he took it down. And then when Smitty, Ike C, Mickey Benson, and Hassan Campbell called me on a three-way, the intensity that they were trying to get me to stop, that said to me, I should probably go a little bit harder. Now, they were very respectful because we knew each other from the streets. Ain't nobody ever punked me in those streets, and I knew how they got down as well. But I just said, well, maybe there is something here. So that's how it got started. More people started calling me. It wasn't nothing where I wanted to, dig in and, destroy Bambaataa. No. People started calling, and that's how it took flight. But again, you have to give Hassan Campbell, whether you like him or not, a lot of credit. He crashed out on people that were like uncles to him. Okay?
Yes. I mean, I've heard the rumors as well as about him being gay, but, when you picked up the story, I've always wondered, like, how did you stay strong? Because that's a serious topic.
I'm stupid.
And,
I'm stupid.
And my final question would be, for the young journalists that are listening today, if someone will come with similar allegations against some other celebrity, what would you advise that journalist to do?
I don't know if I have advice per se, but you want to do research first. You want to cross-reference things. The first person who I interviewed, I sent him back to go get pictures. He said he was a politician with the Democratic Party. Let me see those pictures. I sent him back home. The first interview took about 2 weeks. I didn't just, interview him the next day. So, advice, cross-reference, and ask other people. I even started calling guys who I hadn't seen in 30 years and asking about the first guy. And, you know, and then when Hassan Campbell, again, when he popped up, whoa, you know, but you have to have, if this sounds something that you can latch onto, you have to have confidence in your own work. You know, if you're going to put your foot on the gas, you can't start backpedaling and then questioning why you did what you did. Okay.
Yes, I completely understand.
I got to go. I got to take other calls.
And you can.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for answering the questions. Have a good week.
Okay. Thank you for your Cash App donations. Okay. I worked very closely with the New York Daily News. Nobody, again, I don't say this to be disrespectful. No YouTuber, nobody wanted to even touch this story. You know why? Because they were too connected to the streets and hip hop. They didn't want to come out and accuse Bambaataa of nothing, but I was cocking the gun. The Daily News, the Zulu Nation was calling me a COINTELPRO. So we started going at it in the New York Daily News for about 2 weeks before anybody else wanted to lift a finger. Oh, there you are on a Thursday night. Janet. Hey, Janet.
Hey, Star. Well, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
He's gone.
Fuck him.
That was a long road there, Star. That was a long winding road there.
Yeah. I have lived to see him die. Look at God. Look at
God.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's we're talking about this sexual abuse. You know, we really have to get in depth because so many avenues there. So many avenues there. It's too much. It's right now. It's too much to go into for me because there's so many avenues that are not being brought forth, and I want them to be, and I need them to be. So I'm gonna just, you know, this thing with this hip hop thing, you know, that was a long road. That was a long road.
Now, hang on a second. Now, Jenny, you're not getting tired, are you? Because I'm working on something else, not necessarily trying to line nobody up, but you know, something else is going on.
I'm not getting tired.
Okay.
We have to do what we have to do. You know what I'm saying? We have to do what we have to do because it's a lot of monsters out there, but you know it's a lot of broken monsters out there too.
Okay.
And you know, I used to always say the jails are filled with hurt people. They are filled with a lot of hurt people that have been abused, and I don't understand how come when we go after somebody. And I really think that at times, I think like 90 times, I think maybe even 100% time that this is a vampire's disease. So when I look at an abuser, I want to find out who abused them because it has to be a starting point. It has to be a starting point, and we have to educate the people. We have to educate the people because if not, this is going to continue, and it's going to continue, and it's not going to be an end. It's not going to be an end. But
Janet, do you want to go there tonight, or should we talk behind the scenes?
I think we should talk behind the scenes.
Okay.
But I just want to say, whenever if it's something else that we got to look into, you know, just let me know. I ain't tired yet, Star.
Okay.
I was for a minute, but I ain't tired yet. You know.
Okay. All right.
You know? And you know what?
Anything with regards to one-time victims? Any avenues of support or any personal experience? I don't want to get in your business, but you know, molestation.
Yes, I have personal experience, and we could talk about that behind the scenes.
Okay.
You know, because I sometimes you know. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. That's why I say it's a lot of avenues that we gotta We got to go down because it is, as I said, a vampire disease. And if you don't check yourself, if you're not knowing what you're doing out here or what's happening and what's going on and get to the bottom of everything, it will just keep going on. And you have to break the cycle.
Break the cycle. Okay.
You have to break the cycle. If we want to talk, we could talk about, if you want to talk when children, when they first start getting their sexual urges, when you having these sleepovers, these away camps, you have to look into that. And people don't send your kids to stay overnight somewhere because, you know, you need a babysitter and you want to go out and get drunk and whatever. And we're like, well, ain't nobody in there over 10. Don't you understand the human body? You understand what happens? You know, so you have to be very careful. The first thing you have to do is learn how to break the cycle.
Did you have sleepovers, Janet, when in the 70s? You know, you came up in the same. Well, a couple. You're behind me. Did you go to sleepovers in the 70s?
Oh yeah, that was the thing back then. Okay. That was the thing.
My father wouldn't let me sleep over little white boys' houses. He said white. He said the crack is a freak.
Listen, back in the day,
folks, if you're new to the show, my father's from the South, Durham, North Carolina. He said, "No, you can't be what the little sleepovers and something they used to call them. I forget back in the pajama parties." Yeah, said, nah, boy.
Yeah, of course. You get back in the 70s and early 80s, people would have like card parties at their house or house parties and stuff where the parents and stuff is getting drunk and whatever. And then you got this little 10-year-old little boy over here.
Easy.
No, I'm saying, and he starts feeling on you and, you know, stuff like that. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So,
Janet, I got to go. Good to talk to you.
Why are you getting off the phone?
Well, I thought you made your point. I'm backed up on calls. I need to play another video. Do you want to discuss anything with regards to NATO and Trump, who's now crashing out on Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Alex Jones? The orange man is crashing out, but he didn't want to go in and get busy with Iran. I'm starting to worry about him.
You have this this government, our country has become the laughing stock of the world. We don't know what's going on. All the rule books are thrown out the window. It's gone.
Okay.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
646. Good evening. Are you there? Are you ready? Area code 646.
Hey, Star, how we doing?
Hey, good evening.
Hey, Star, how we doing?
We're doing, sir. What's going on?
How we doing? Just want to call in and give kind of like my connection to all this, and I want to just congratulate you and thank you, and my weird connection to this. I don't know, you probably do know this. You know Layla Wills. I was involved with her with the protest in SOB back then.
Salute.
When I was with the church.
Salute.
And I just want to just reach out the weird connection. And the weird thing is that few years after that, I had to leave the church because the elder, well, not him, but he was covering up for another elder. And
so now we have no proof about what happened. So that's hearsay. But if you do want to talk to me,
well, no,
hang on. If you want to talk, if you want to talk behind the scenes, let's do that. I can't just come out based upon a phone call and possibly slander someone. Contact me behind the scenes. My email address is there. But thank you for assisting Layla Wills. I am going to have to talk about her this evening. I don't want to because she's busy, but everything she did was from the heart. She knew up front she was going to lose money, never asked for donations, and thank you for supporting her.
Yes. Shout out to her, man. But just for the record, we, the people that was behind with working with me, we interviewed 3 victims, and he admitted it. So it was not allegation. It was actually it was proven.
Okay. I appreciate the call. Salute.
But salute, brother. Okay, peace.
Please don't call me brother. We're wrapping this up soon. Are you there? Good evening, 313. Please watch the language. 313.
Yeah. Star, what's up? What's the deal?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, I wanted to say a thing about Afrika Bambaataa. Yeah, that boy disgusting, man. He a nasty, fat.
Please watch the language, sir. Watch the language.
Sorry, he just nasty old dude. He should have.
Sir, you've got some type of echo in the background. Can you make the adjustments, please?
Yeah. He should have been in jail a long time ago. I mean, with a case like that, man, the police supposed to just take him to jail. They supposed to handle him in jail. He a big.
Well, he's in a lake of fire right now, sir. So I think that's where he belongs. Yes, no?
Yeah. You say what again?
He's in a lake of fire. So are you a religious man?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. I'm damn near an atheist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is dead. Yeah. He's
more fire.
Definitely in hell.
All right.
I wanted to say something too. When I was a kid, I used to go to church a lot. My family was real religious.
Okay.
We was Christians, and we had a guy named Brother David.
Well, so I don't want to hear anybody's names if you're trying to accuse people of things. We're not doing that.
No. I'm not trying to expose nobody. Anyways, he used to go to wrestling matches a lot. He used to ask.
All right, sir, with all due respect, we don't want to hear these personal stories. We're talking about solutions. How old are you now? How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay. You're a young man. Are you a father?
Yeah.
Are you a father?
No.
Were you touched, violated at some point?
No. That's what I was getting to. With this dude.
Well, why'd you lose your faith, sir? You said you lost your faith. Why? You've been protected, if you ask me, in a sense.
No. I never believed in it. It just doesn't make any sense. Religion doesn't make any sense. That's all. I'm not all the way atheist. I believe in God. I just don't believe in that traditional sense of it. The Christians, Muslims, Jews, all that stuff. I think the people retarded. I don't believe in any of that stuff.
Can I make a recommendation before you go, sir? I appreciate the call.
Who?
When you get time, go on YouTube, type in James Cleveland, a song called Where Is Your Faith? Okay?
Oh, yeah?
Thank you, sir.